The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, a game that broke many records and brought the Zelda series back to its roots. Not only that, it brought open world exploration where you can travel all across Hyrule, from Hyrule Castle to Gerudo Desert to Death Mountain to Zora's Domain and much more. But now, Nintendo has recently released a trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, so within this episode of Let's Talk Zelda, I, the Hyrule Historian, will be going over my thoughts of this trailer and see what Breath of the Wild 2 could actually hold for us. So, let's get this new adventure started. So before we look into the trailer, I have a few notes that I wanted to go over since I believe most of you have now already seen the trailer, and if not, the link is in the description below. However, I'm wanting to go over my few key points of it where we can understand the trailer a little bit more and some of its secrets. Afterwards, I will be going over how the story could turn out and what the future could actually show within gameplay. Now, when it comes to the trailer, we are looking at the opening scene that starts to show some glowing energy flowing past the screen. However, if you stop and take a quick look at it, it starts to resemble the energy that we see after the monks start to disappear from Breath of the Wild once you complete a shrine. And that this would start to remind me of what's known as life essence, or life energy, which is mainly seen in RPG games. But nonetheless, this is something that it closely resembles, and that you can start to see it spelling something within the Gerudo language, which we can instantly tell that there is a J, a W, and an I. However, some of this is more rotated and they start to fuse with one another after a time before fading away to the next scene. Now, continuing to the next scene, we start to see the energy flowing up to some sort of device, which now we are somewhere underground or in a dungeon. However, since there's not really a dungeon in Breath of the Wild, I'm going to say that we are underground somewhere. However, this energy is starting to go up towards some sort of device, and is coming from a white figure within the center of the room, while there is malice flowing from it and trying to leave this cave within every direction. However, this could actually mean something, since later on we do see that there is some sort of figure within the malice. However, it's not that clear within this scene. However, it does form a source for the malice. This could actually resemble something that is a slightly bigger threat, unless it has something to do related to Ganon. But besides that, we do see Zelda and Link travel in a cave with some sort of animal. However, it's not one that we've seen in Breath of the Wild, even though it does look close to the boars within Twilight Princess. Yet, if we look more closely, we can tell that the boars are slightly different, and that Link and Zelda are within some sort of ruins that resembles the Zonai ruins from Breath of the Wild, as well as the labyrinths. However, there is also some Lumious stones that are glowing with the light blue glow, which in Breath of the Wild, the description for those are that some people believe these stones contain souls or spirits within them, so they could contain some sort of magical property, and that this is one of the caves that is most likely known for the Lumious stones, and where some of the monks or where some of the Zonai clan would have been. Since the Zonai clan is more of a mystery, and there's not much to say about them. Now, this is the part of the trailer where it starts throwing hints out. However, it's not shown in order, so it seems like there are clips cut from here and there, probably to add more mystery. However, what we can tell is that the white figure is now seen as a hand holding down some sort of mummified figure, and that within the clips it shows the hand fusing with Link, so we can tell that this hand is going to help Link. So how it seems to me is a spirit to a monk or someone from the Sacred Realm, since they resemble the Guardians from Skyward Sword and the monks from Breath of the Wild. However, this is unclear, and it would seem like Link would get a power from this being something close to what he had with Midna within Twilight Princess. However, then we see that there is some sort of ruins that start to look like dungeons, so we can most likely expect that there will be more dungeons within this upcoming game. However, the dungeons may differ from area to area, so we're just going to have to see what Nintendo's going to throw at us. Then at the end we actually see that the mummified figure has the Gerudo symbol and long hair. This would resemble Demise, but at the same time it resembles Ganondorf from Twilight Princess, since the malice is flowing from his chest where Link stabbed him at the end of Twilight Princess. However, this is unclear if this is the same Ganondorf, and this would also mean that the Ganon that we fight at the end of Breath of the Wild was just something that Ganon's malice created, since it was also the reason behind each blight within the Divine Beasts. But at the end of the trailer, we start to see something happen to Hyrule Castle, which at first it seems like it's starting to rise out from the ground, but this also could show that Hyrule Castle is actually collapsing to actually open up the cave. However, this is unclear if the castle is collapsing or if it's rising from the ground. However, this is just one of the mysteries within this trailer, and we won't know anything else until Nintendo decides to release another trailer. However, since they have just started development on it, it may actually be a while, unless Nintendo decides to surprise us at any time within this year. Yet, my guess is that they won't show us another trailer until the end of the year, or the next E3. So when it comes to the story for Breath of the Wild 2, I feel like the trailer shows the beginning of it, since Link gains a new power, Ganondorf looks like he's being revived, and we are seeing some sort of ruins, which I believe that this is all happening underneath Hyrule Castle, where it's showing that something is happening to it, if it's collapsing or if it's rising into the sky. However, those are only theories at the moment. But what we do know is that Link gains some sort of new ability with the hand fusing with him or just granting him a power. However, when it comes to it, I feel like there will be more ruins opening up around the land, since we've already been through several shrines. Probably the Gorons will dig up a random ruin in Death Mountain. Some Ritos may find a dungeon off the side of a cliff within their region, and from there we may end up going into Gerudo Desert that will hold some sort of secret around Arbiter's Ground, or be able to explore the desert even more. And on top of that, even something would open on the Great Plateau where we can discover more of its secrets and where it actually came from. I mean, there's still so much to it. Sure, 4 shrines, the Temple of Time, and we may even use the Temple of Time to see what the land was before Calamity Ganon attacked, and go after a few more memories here and there. But not really for Link, but for the hand, where Link will understand how to use its power, where we can gain some unique abilities. Yet, this is only wishful thinking, but it would be interesting if we gain a hookshot ability with the hand, where it would be like Midna from Twilight Princess, where then we can attach to walls and other things really fast without using as much stamina. But at the same time, we may lose the Guardian's abilities such as Mipha's Grace or Revali's Wind, and in return we will gain some sort of new ability by unlocking new powers with the hand or unlocking new runes for the Sheikah Slate. And in return we may even get an updated Sheikah Slate. Yet when it comes to the story, I still feel like it will be basic as Breath of the Wild, where you can go to whatever ruins you want to first, and to explore the land of Hyrule once again, But since I feel like a lot of things would have changed between Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2, since we have a short time of peace where then the citizens can start rebuilding on Hyrule Castletown and other locations, and probably even open a way to get to the Great Plateau a lot simpler as well, while other people will start exploring the Zonai ruins and probably opening a few dungeons here and there. But for stories, I still feel like it's going to be basic once again, where it can stick with its traditional roots and where we can explore Hyrule when we want and to go to whatever dungeon we want to first. However, I feel like there may be a limitation with this one since we may not be able to go and face the final boss off the get-go. It may return how Zelda 1 was, where you would have to collect a key item such as pieces of the Triforce, where then you would be able to go face the final boss. So the key item may be somewhere out in the world, and you just need to collect it before going to face Ganon, such as recharging the Master Sword back to its full power, such as it was in Wind Waker. But those are my thoughts for the main story. So when it comes to gameplay wise for Breath of the Wild 2, I don't see much changing since Nintendo knew what they was doing with Breath of the Wild 1. However, I do kind of see a new soundtrack being added to kind of show that the land is being rebuilt and new things are starting to happen. And if we do get dungeons and being able to travel underground, I feel like there will be a new soundtrack for that. And have a new soundtrack for a busy town or city such as Hyrule Castletown being rebuilt, or just a new town in general, having just new soundtracks for the different towns, showing how busy or laid back each town is. Now when it comes to the shrines and collecting Korok seeds, I don't really see that happening in Breath of the Wild 2. However, I do see Nintendo's throwing something new at us. And the one thing that I do see is a few new shrines, but watched over by some sort of Gerudo monks of some sort. Maybe sorcerers or a sorceress. Maybe how Twinrova was within Ocarina of Time. And that these sorcerers would know more of the Gerudo's history and where Ganon came from, where we can learn of the Gerudo's backstory and Ganon's backstory, yet it would be up to you if you would want to learn more of this story, since this could be completely optional. Now when it comes to armor and weapons, I feel like the only change here would be is that you would be able to carry the broken armor or weapons around with you, where you could fix them up later at a forge of some sorts, or turn them into magic armor or weapons at a Great Fairy's Fountain, or add some sort of Sheikah technology to them at a Sheikah lab, or even add some sort of jewel to them to give them a elemental power. But besides that, you would also be able to get recipes for new weapons or armor, where then you can build certain things yourselves, where then you can just collect certain ores and certain materials such as ancient tech, where then you can make your own armor or weapons how it was within Breath of the Wild, but something portable or something that you can find in each town. Now when it comes to traveling, Breath of the Wild only had about 3 main sources of traveling, minus the fast traveling, which was just traveling on foot, horseback riding, or traveling by paraglider, which these are all fun since each of us has our own unique way of going through Hyrule. However, I feel like when it comes to traveling, I feel like there will be more minecart tracks of some sort, such as another way of fast traveling, where certain tribes may use it, such as Goron's getting from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the mountain, or certain people traveling by boat, which they could be going from island to island. And this would be another way that I think that we could travel, since there are the rafts within Breath of the Wild, but I don't think a lot of us would use them unless we was going to the certain island that was down south of the map, and from there I feel like a boat would be nice, because then we would be able to travel to a few more islands out in the distance of Hyrule, but still within its range. However, just another unique way and more minecart tracks probably leading over to another land that we could probably explore some of it, but at the same time it would most likely be part of a quest, and from there we would have to travel back to Hyrule, but it's just wishful thinking. So guys, that will do it for this episode of Let's Talk Zelda. I hope you have all enjoyed it. Please let me know what your opinions are down below, and what your thoughts of Breath of the Wild 2 is. And when it comes to these episodes, I would also like to say that it takes me about a week or two to fix these episodes up, since I'm having to collect certain clips for them, and I would like to know of any future topics that you would like me to cover. However, there are still a few in the works right now, so you can look forward to them, and that these episodes are still coming out slow because I'm catching up on editing, but this is episode 2 of Let's Talk Zelda, so you can also check down in the description below for episode 1, and I hope you enjoy it. But besides that, don't forget to leave a like or a comment below, and make sure you tell some friends that Let's Talk Zelda is back. This has been the Hyrule Historian, and thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Later, guys.